Now, Bob talked about races. One thing you want to get across to the riders is this is not a race.
Exactly. Bob is an exemplary rider. That's why we have him as one of the lead marshals. There's 3 groups you can go into. The fast group, which Bob is a marshal, intermediate group, and then we'll call it a family or kids group. And it's really just a lot of fun.
And the first group gets done in relatively quick amount of time.
45 minutes, 40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't get to see the city. Go in the intermediate or the slow group, then you'll have a better time.
You get
to see the city, the historic sites. You know, at the rest stops, we have a ton of volunteers. You get to talk to them and meet people, and it's really a fun time.
We do this rain or shine, correct?
That's right.
It happens. And Rich, rain or shine, you guys are out there.
We'll be there.
And it'll be well staffed as always from
Yes.
your division. Jonathan, how many riders do we have this year?
We're hoping to approach the 300 mark again like we did last year. We've got a lot of press out there. We've got a lot of applications already in the system. And we'll see what happens. You know, it depends, again, on the weather, because we do get a lot of last-minute people signing up.
Bob, you always have a good story to tell about somebody who is from outside of town. You kind of mentioned it earlier in your remarks, and then they see something in Elizabeth and they say, oh, is that Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Maybe you got one of those stories you can share with us.
Well, there's more than one, but last year was interesting. We had a couple from Princeton, New Jersey come up, and they rode the tour, and afterwards they wrote a beautiful letter to Jonathan at Groundworks saying that they're from Princeton and this bucolic setting in Princeton and how wonderful it is down there. And they enjoyed Elizabeth. They loved the Elmora section. They loved what was going on down Elizabethport, and they just thought it was great that an urban area was blossoming the way it was. And in fact, they've signed up this year, and they're coming up to ride again. And they were really impressed with the city.
Good. And Jonathan, do you ride?
I do too, but I don't ride in this.
You don't ride in
I'm
this?
pretty much in charge.
You handle the misting machines with Rich, right?
I'm back with Rich.
And make sure that happens. Well, I think it's going to be a great day on Sunday. We got a lot going on in the city that Sunday. The Cubans have an Independence thing that they're working. They have some horses going down Elizabeth Avenue. The Haitians have an Independence Day. So the city of Elizabeth is going to be hopping on that Sunday, and it's all kicking off with a Tour de Elizabeth. And I hope we have a great time.
We'd like to thank the city of Elizabeth and you too for all the support you give us. Without you, we couldn't make this happen.
For the second half of the show, I'm joined by Jonathan Phillips, the Executive Director of Groundwork Elizabeth, who was also with us in the first part. Jonathan, welcome back.
Thank you.
And also Imad Abu Sabi, who is the Vice President of HACBM, and they're the Architects, Engineer, and Planning LLC. Imad, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Imad, we'll start with you since Jonathan was on the beginning, but you're not a stranger to Elizabeth. You worked on a big project here a few years back.
We've been in Elizabeth.
Tell us about that project you worked on for a while.
Nearly 14 years now we've been in Elizabeth. We did a lot of the redevelopment work at the IKEA complex, the Toys R Us building, Incredible Universe. We were responsible for all of that work. As well, we were the architects and engineers for the 2 early childhood centers that you have on Trumbull and on Broad Street.
That's right. And were you with another firm before and did the Jersey Gardens?
No, that's a different firm.
That's a different firm. You weren't involved in that, but you were involved during all the other things,
All the
Incredible
IKEA
Universe and everything else. Good. Imad, the Elizabeth River Trail is something that Jonathan is extremely proud of, and I'm going to start with you because you helped design and where it originates. So maybe you can show us something before I get to Jonathan.
Sure. The original design for the park was begun back in the early 1900s by the Olmsted brothers. They were engaged by the Union County Park System to design Warnanko Park and to look at the river trail in general. And they did this project, but it was never completed. It was never really built. There were only parts of it, like Matano Park and up through Bridge Street, but nothing on this side of Bridge, between Bridge and Broad. And that's really the area of concentration for this first phase of the project. Today, we got together with stakeholders in the community, residents from all the neighborhoods down at the by Montana Park, with officials from the town. We got together and we really brainstormed, it was called a visioning charrette, about what were the elements that they wanted in this park. And together we formed this list of features, whether it was an amphitheater or a trail or a concession stand or bike paths, things like that. And we put all of those elements into a concept design that we shared with Groundwork Elizabeth.
Jonathan, tell us about the Elizabeth River Trail project. I know Imad just gave us a brief overview of where we're going to go, How do we get there?
Well, it's a great project, like Ima was saying. I mean, the idea has been around since the early 1900s. A little history again. In the 1970s, there were major floods in the city. Army Corps of Engineers came in, built some levees and encased the Elizabeth River, solved the flood problem, and built sort of a trail along the banks of the river without kind of too much thought, as an afterthought. In the 1980s, I believe the city of Elizabeth, again, re-examined, although it's a county property, the city of Elizabeth started to re-examine building another trail, tying all portions of the city together, all the way down from Broad Street, all the way down to where Jersey Gardens is now, the Arthur Kill. In this decade, in the past 2 or 3 years, we've worked intimately with the city of Elizabeth, with Union County's Preservation Trust Fund, with actually the federal government. We've got a legislation in the federal government, National Recreational Trails Grant, stakeholders in the community, to come together and to really readdress how we can put this Olmstedian park into action. And right now we're involved with HACBM, who I'm really proud to have involved with us.
Thank you.
They do a great job. They've been really pleasurable to work with. Into phase 1 of the project. There are 3 phases, and phase 1 will go from Broad Street, right where the library is, and end up at Bridge Street. It's a short portion, but there's a lot of interest in it, and I think in a few seconds, Emad will probably hold up this diagram, and some of the viewers can see what's going on.
Now, who else is involved in this? I mean, the freeholders are involved, the County of Union, the State Department. You mentioned some of the partners. It's a lot of government partners involved.
Yeah,
in this,
there's also, of course, the New Jersey State DEP Green Acres department, which has been really instrumental in this. Many other nonprofits. The National Park Service has been involved in this also. And again, the community at large.
Emad, why don't you show us that design and talk to us about the Olmsted designs and concepts and how we're implementing what they designed over 100 years ago.
Absolutely. It's really quite an honor, first and foremost, to be a part of this, to complete a design that was begun by the Olmsteds. Some of the concepts that we've designed into this park you can find in Central Park. Central Park was designed by Frederick Law Olmsted Sr. It was his son and stepson, the Olmsted brothers, that designed this part of the Elizabeth Trail at the far end, Montana Park. When you think of Central Park, you think of great spaces with personalities. You think of the Great Lawn, you think of groves, you think of promenades, and when you say those words, you visualize something that you're experiencing. We tried to do those same experiences here in this park. We've designed features that are open and vast that would be a great lawn. We've designed features that would relate to a promenade, you know, a row of trees on each side, park benches underneath, walking surfaces that are comfortable. We very, very much wanted to respect St. John's Parsonage, the historic residence that's here, and wanted to celebrate it in a way that would be remembered for years and years to come. And we designed a sort of mall in front of it, again with trees on either side, framing the view of the parsonage, all the while really looking at, or trying to experience the river, trying to celebrate the water feature that's there, and linking it, making it a common thread that's woven now through this part of the city, from the central business district through the neighborhoods to Montana Park. We really believe that it's a thriving and bustling business district that's really going to feed this park from Broad and from Bridge. You can imagine on a community day, if you shut down some of these streets and bring everybody down into this park, it'll be a wonderful place to gather. Amphitheaters, overlooks, fountains in the river,